that 33% of the US workers currently are working remotely. And this trend is supposed to continue even after post-COVID, because obviously big companies have found a significant change. They've found a significant change in cost savings, definitely. When you have workers coming into big offices and working, you have to give them space, you have to find equipment, you have to really the real estate costs a lot more. So they found a lot more cost saving, and they've also seen that in many circumstances, the productivity is actually higher. So this trend is going to continue. But on the other hand, we've also seen the impact of this on mental health, especially on mental health. And this is a question often I am asked as the Chief Medical Officer of the Department of Mental Health to talk to our workforce. We have about 7,000 employees within our Department of Mental Health in Missouri. And then there is also similar agencies or state agencies across in Missouri as well, where we are struggling with several issues and trying to see how we can keep the mental health of our employees, take into account and help them thrive during this difficult period. And then also plan for time after COVID, 2022, what should that look like? Should we continue with the remote working model, or should we continue a hybrid model? So this is something that's happening currently. Now, we all know what are the advantages of working from home. Of course, it saves a lot of time. For me, typically, that means your first thing in the morning, an hour and a half, running through the kitchen, cooking, getting coffee done, putting makeup on, getting in the car, driving, cleaning the car if you have snow, and then driving. I mean, that was a good 45 minutes to an hour. And then the same thing the evening. So most individuals will save at least an hour in commute, some up to 2 hours, not only commute, but also getting ready for work. And then the same thing, some even, I think, in places like California, I would think it saves them about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours a day. So obviously there's a lot of time. Commute really makes a difference. And then the flexible schedule, if you're an earlier waker, you can get up at 4 in the morning and do all your work and go to bed early. And if you're a late worker like me, I like to stay up late at night, then I can work more I can sleep in the morning and work a lot more during my night hours. So there's a lot more flexible schedule, and that way you can adapt it to our needs and how we work. Many of the individuals I know at work, I used to ask them and they'll say, hey, they'd say, don't talk to me first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock. I'm still in my sleep state right now. My brain only kicks into action around 10 o'clock or so. So you really see a difference in people's individual ability when they work the best during the daytime. So with this one, you have that flexible schedule. And then the third thing is also you save a lot of money on gas. Work clothes. I don't think I've bought any clothes for nearly more than a year now because I don't need it. I can still work in my pajamas or in my lounging pants, so I don't have to do a lot of work clothes, jewelry, shoes. I mean, there's a lot of those expenses that are cut down too. So there's a lot of savings, a lot of advantages. There are some advantages, not a lot, but significant advantages from working from home as well, especially if you're a mother also caring for children. It is easier because at least you can make sure they're home by 3:30, and all those anxiety when you're not at home happens. Like if you have a dog or a pet, then all those, it's helpful to help them take care of them easily as well. So, but there are also significant disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages? One, there is no work time and home time delineation. So it's all mingled together. So the brain is constantly either on a work time mode or a home time mode. So if you're in a work time mode, that means you end up working a lot of work. Your brain cannot shut that time and go to home time. And if you're in a home time mode, it's very hard. You're not able to focus on work. You're basically thinking about other things that are happening in the home that you're not able to really sit down and put that effort at work. So that lack of boundaries between work time and home time can have a significant impact. And the other thing what we found is, this is from my experience working for the department, is that our staff actually work more hours from home than they did from office. So if you look at the typical office hours was from 8 in the morning to 4:30 in the evening or 4 in the evening. 4:30 in the evening. What would happen is they come in from 8 to 8:30. That's the social interaction time. You come in, you say hello to your friends, you check on each other, you go to a coffee, you go get your cup of coffee, meet all people on their way to a cup of coffee. Then you come back and 10 o'clock, 10:15, you take another coffee break. Then you have a lunch break between 12 to 1 where you're taking your friends, your colleagues and going out for lunch. And then another coffee break around 3 o'clock and then time to come home. So if you really look at productive hours, it's actually less because there's so much interruptions. What we found is that people are able to churn out much more work working from home. So what happens because of that is that you tend to work a lot. There's no work schedule. There's no set 8 o'clock. There's no set 4:30. There's no 12 o'clock from lunch or tea breaks. And also the expectation has come from employers that you are given this privilege to work from home, so you should be able to produce more work. So there is this constant expectation, and then this has led to disrupted and daily routines. I mean, people, when we were working in offices, we knew we had to get up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, do a little bit personal time for spiritual or exercise or whatever we do, and then you need then your time to get your shower in, get dressed, have breakfast, get kids out of the house. We had a routine, and that has been completely disrupted. And then, of course, we have the issue of social isolation because, as I said, when we're out there, we're meeting our friends, we're meeting our co-workers, we're engaging in conversations with others, you're laughing more. Definitely you're laughing more. All that smile, that laugh, all that adds so much value to our life, which is completely taken away now. And again, social workers are also a big support for most of us of working life. Our friends and a social support is actually our co-workers who also help with us deal with the day-to-day stress and anxiety. For example, if you're struggling through a tough project, you can go to your co-worker, they can come and help you out. Or if you're having a tough issue with one of your co-workers, you have another co-worker to talk about it in a manner and resolve it. So all that is completely gone. So because of the short time in 20 minutes, I'm going to focus on a few things. Mainly, there's a lot of disrupted daily routines which we'll go through, but I'm going to specifically talk about sleep, which I believe is one of the very, very core components for mental health functioning. Of all the things we do, sleep is the pillar of mental health functioning. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time on sleep, and then also spend a little bit of time on physical activity. Just if you look at the disrupted daily routines, the first thing that is disrupted is the sleep-wake cycle disruption. So what happens is, for example, I'm actually a late sleep person. I've always been someone who can work better at night than in the daytime. But when I had to do my 8 to 4:30 job, I went to bed at 9 o'clock. I got up at 5:30 in the morning. I did my yoga for 10-15 minutes, did some exercise or something, went for a walk if it was a good thing in the morning, or went for a yoga class in the morning. I fitted some exercise in there. And then by 8 o'clock, by 7:30, I was out of the house. So that was that very set time that I had to go. This is completely disrupted for me now, because I know I work better late at night. I work in till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, which then makes it harder for me to get up in the morning. So the sleep-wake cycle disruption is a big one. The second thing is lack of exercise. People have tended to become more sedentary because of the meetings and working on the computer constantly is making us much more sedentary. And if you really count, if you look at people's speedometer or step count, you will see that they're actually doing much less steps than they did when they're working physically in offices, because physical offices have spaces where you have to walk through very long corridors and you don't even think about it. You just go to get a cup of coffee or go for a bathroom break, or you go to your boss's office. But without knowing, we're able to actually clock in a lot of steps. Now, with this, we have become much more sedentary. We have a set small office, and we spend most of the working days in there. So definitely more sedentary. There has been a lot of change in eating habits. When we went to work, some of them are bad because we do find donuts in the break room. We do tend to eat a lot more of things we shouldn't be eating. But we also knew that we packed lunch, or we knew where we were going to go for lunch, and it was much more structured time. We were eating now. The fridge is right across from our office, from a home office, that I can walk in and pick and eat whatever I want. So that's a big change. And then, of course, lack of discipline we talked about. The other important thing I find with the disruption is lack of time for self. When I used to drive, I used to have at least protected half an hour for me when I used to read podcasts, listen to the news, listen to the music. It was that little space for myself, which I don't have anymore. Even the drive was that, or even I made sure I had an hour of exercise time for a yoga class or something in the morning, or something in the evening to meet a friend to go for a walk or something. There was a protected time, which now seems to all have kind of gone away. And then there's a sense of being trapped in your own house. And this is there are a lot of individuals who feel like, I just want to get out of here. I just need to go out, a vacation, a few days somewhere. I need to go somewhere. I don't care where it is. I just need to get out of here. And day after day, 365 days, when you're spending in your own house, it is 365 days since the COVID started, in your own house, it can be it feels like your own house can feel like you're trapped. You feel like it just feels so uncomfortable as well. So that craving for exercise, looking for places to go, where can I go? I mean, that kind of takes a lot of time in your brain space. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about sleep, because I think this is where there is a feeling among individuals that if you are a hard worker, if you have to be successful in life, you have to sleep less and work more. Yes, I mean, in Indian culture, it's especially very clear. I mean, if you don't get up by 5 in the morning, you're lazy. So that is that that எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் தூங்கிட்டே இருக்காங்க, that always sleeping. Whenever I see you sleeping, there's that kind of that sleep has always been considered equated with being lazy. So one of the important things is that study after study after study these days show that 7 to 8 hours of sleep is needed for optimal functioning. It has to be good quality sleep, not just laying in bed and rolling around. It has to be where your brain goes through a good deep cycle, periods of time where in deep sleep. It goes through at least 2 to 3 REM cycles and non-REM cycles during that period of time. And so that you have much more restorative sleep, because we know that sleep is actually the reset button of our brain. This is when our hormonal productions, all of that is done. This is exactly when our memories are consolidated. If you don't sleep, you cannot make memories. If you want to make memories, it's basically, I see sleep as the filing system. You go to bed at night and your brain goes and puts you to sleep, and then it does the filing of memories. It actually throws away things that you do not want. So it really, and also the hormonal reset also happens, the temperature reset, the hormonal reset. So it's very restorative. If you don't have sleep, even you can go without food for, 7 days or longer. Of course, you need water, but without sleep, you cannot go fast. You will die if you don't sleep. And so sleep is very, very important for the human functioning. The other part of sleep is also not just the number of hours, it is the sleep within the circadian rhythm. That's very important. To sleep within a circadian rhythm is important, and it actually is a luxury and something that everybody can do it. But because of the light and all the ability that we can work different hours, we have pushed our circadian rhythm completely out of our biological clock. So sleeping within the circadian rhythm is very important, because the light and dark cycle, the light entering our brain and the cycle really works on the hypothalamus pituitary axis through the suprachiastic nucleus, and thereby sets that sleep-wise cycle. We know that, compared to years ago to now, our circadian rhythm has been shifting biologically because of all the lights that include artificial lights. It includes the light even that comes from our computers constantly. This is very important. Now, American Association for Sleep Medicine in 2015, they came up with a consensus paper, and they noted that less sleep is associated with adverse health outcomes, weight gain. Even if you eat right, and even if you do not do everything right, if you do not get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you will notice weight gain, especially in your lower abdomen area. The reason for that is the leptin control, all the sugar modulation hormones, especially leptin, the satiety center, all these are moderated by the sleep-wake cycle. So it's very important that if you don't, especially when you're sleeping, all these are reset. So weight gain is one thing, nothing is hypertension. People we have found that who don't sleep adequately do have increased risk of hypertension, heart disease, is common. Depression and mood changes. If you do not sleep consistently for a period of time, you will get depressed, because that is the body's mechanism to cope with your lack of sleep. As it goes into depression, it settles everything down. It decreases the motivation. It decreases the energy. Decreases the interest in anything else out. It sends you to a state of blindness, which is what depression is. And then, of course, you will also see a lot of mood changes if you don't sleep. The mood changes could be irritability, having a short fuse, not really wanting to do much, even if when you don't sleep and you lay down, it's very hard to get to sleep by the time you get into depression phase. Your body's tired and you want to sleep, but you still cannot sleep. The other thing, there's more studies that showing that people who have less sleep also have a depressed immune function. So it really, sleep is the reset of everything. And of course, there's increased death in individuals. Their life is shorter than those who sleep. And if I remember right, there were several individuals, especially high functioning CEOs, who always touted about how they only need 4 to 5 hours of sleep for them to function. And they have talked about how successful they become because they sleep less. But then they also showed that many of them actually had died very prematurely in their 50s. And one of the reasons that was thought may have contributed to that was the poor sleep. We know very little about sleep. Sleep is one thing that even scientifically we still know very, very little. Even if you search the entire scientific literature, it is very complex. We do not know much about it. But all we know is if you need to function well and live healthily, you have to have restorative sleep. It also impairs performance if you don't sleep. This is something I'm seeing within our staff, is that after a period of time, I've seen our staff report that the performance is decreasing. People are not able to finish tasks on time. They're not able to keep their focus. So what this happens is you have more things that are pushed to the next day, and now you become overwhelmed because you haven't completed the task, and yet you're not able to complete. And this sets the other cycle. Now you're anxious and worried because you haven't finished your task, so you're not able to sleep. And then that cycle keeps repeating itself. All right. Working from home and disruption of sleep. Let me just ask you before, because I can go on this forever. What is my time, Shanti? When do I need to stop? You're muted.
Sorry, Angel. Another 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yeah. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So working from home, and again, the important thing is, again, sleep-wake cycle. It is very, very important that it's very important that you develop. How do you fix it? You develop a good sleep routine. Don't change your sleep routine because now you can get up whatever time. If your first meeting is at 9 o'clock, you don't want to get up at 8:30 and go for your first meeting at 9, which you're tempted to do. So important thing is go to bed same time every night, whether it's a weekend, weekday. It's very, very important to train your brain to develop that internal clock. Turn off all electronics. When I say turn off all electronics, a lot of people sometimes have the TV going on in the background, or we'll be listening to music on the cell phone or texting them at the middle of the night after it's time to bed. They spend another half an hour WhatsApping and texting. So turn off all electronics. The other important thing that has come up is that, leaving cell phones or electronic gadgets that are actually off, but still are emitting blue light. So for example, you have the cell phone on, and every time you have a message, let's say your cell phone just keeps blinking, turns on and blinks, and then gives you a blue light. So this blue light, there's a lot more talk about this blue light recently. The blue light from the electronic screens can mess with the circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm is based on complete darkness and your pineal body not getting the light, like secreting melatonin and serotonin, and they then inducing the sleep. And then over a period of time, when it's time to get up, all these things reverse themselves and wake you up in the morning. So this blue light can really mess with your circadian rhythm. So it's important that you turn off everything, including a cell phone, turn it off, or find a cover that covers the cover of the phone. So if you can have like a foldable, I use this so I can fold it so I don't see the blue light coming out of it. So it's very important to do that. Or turn your phone the other way around so it doesn't reflect that blue light. The second thing is also keep the room as dark as possible. Again, in order for circadian rhythm to happen, you have to have the room dark. So if in summer in US, we know our light comes out at 4:30 in the morning, and in winter you get no dark, you don't get light till 7 in the morning. So keep your room really, really dark. It's very, very important for the brain to get it's dark. It's not time to get up yet. Or it's time to go to sleep. It's dark, time to go to sleep. So getting that circadian rhythm. The next one is keep temperature in the room cooler. Okay, so what happens is just before we go to sleep, the body's temperature drops as the day goes down. So we drop by 2 degrees Fahrenheit as the day goes down. So that is kind of how this body says, I'm slowing down my metabolism, I'm going to sleep. So it's everything starts shutting down, and that includes the body temperature. So keeping the temperature down, and that's when the melatonin gets kicked up. The melatonin goes up and the temperature goes down. And the second thing that happens is that the blood supply is taken away from a body into a more peripherals by the time you're going to bed. So that is when you're sleeping, the heart rate goes down, so the rest of the body gets more perfusion. Whereas in the daytime, it's actually the heart, the brain, the stomach, because we're eating. These are the areas where the blood is geared towards. Whereas at night, it goes to the rest of the body. So and it's important that the coolness is very important as well. So keep the temperature a little cooler. They say between 66 to 67 degree Fahrenheit to initiate sleep. The other thing is avoid intensive exercise 2 hours before bedtime. People sometimes will come in and they'll try to get on a treadmill because they say that's 9 o'clock is the only time I have. I can get on the treadmill and run for 1 hour. They're not going to be able to sleep because you're doing exactly what the body is trying to do. You're trying to fight it by making it more active. The other thing, the mistake that a lot of Indians do is that avoid eating 2 hours before bedtime. If you're going to bed on a full stomach 2 hours before bedtime, you're going to have heartburn. That's for sure, because you're lying down. It's not supposed to lie down with that. And the second thing is also, think about it, when your food needs to be digested, all your blood supply goes to your stomach. So it really creates a lot of issue. The sleep is not deep enough. So give at least 2 hours of 2 hours more. In my personal life, I try to finish my evening meal by 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 the latest, because it gives me enough time for my stomach to be empty and I can sleep comfortably. And then the other thing is, if your mind is racing, which can happen even without anxiety, what you need to do is practice some slow, deep breathing. Anything to lower your heart rate. Anything you can do to lower your heart rate will induce sleep. The other one I find very helpful is restorative yoga. You don't want to do vinyasa at night. You want to do more restorative poses, restorative yoga. So many are available on your YouTube these days. I just put a YouTube video on restorative yoga. And then also, if you're used to meditation, again, much more relaxing meditation. If you can do for a few minutes, that's really being helpful. The other important thing is wake up at the same time in the morning. It's very, very important that whether it's Saturday, Sunday, or your meeting starts at 10 o'clock, you still wake up at the same time. I think I'm out of time. Would you say that, Shanti, that is more? But, I just wanted to focus on sleep as part of this, but, there are other things we can talk about. And I'll be open to questions on other topics like social isolation, sedentary work. I mean, all those kind of things as well are equally important. But due to lack of time, I'll stop right here.
Thank you, Angela. It's a great talk. We will reserve the questions for the end of the session, Angela. So
Okay, that's fine.
because of lack of time, let's go with other speakers' talk, and then I appreciate everyone's time. Taking time off on Sunday and participating in this webinar. I really, really appreciate your time. And next speaker is Dr. Selva Shanmugam. So he's a physician in Siddha medicine and has done MD in Siddha and PhD in pharmacology. He works as a consultant for Health India Foundation in a Health India Foundation clinic in Chennai. He is a president and founder member of World Siddha Trust. During his service at National Institute of Siddha, he coordinated a WHO project called Development and Publication of Siddha Treatment Guidelines. And he has got more than 15 years of clinical experience as well as more than 10 years of research experience. And he has conducted several wellness workshops in India as well as here. He has presented more than 35 research papers in national and international conferences, and he has won several awards. I will invite now Dr. Selva Shanmugam to deliver his talk. Dr. Selva, you can take over.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shanti. Can I share my screens?
Yeah, you should be able to share, Dr. Selva.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, able to see the slides now?
We can see the.
Able to see the slides now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Respected the President of GCSMR and Secretary, other members of Global Center for Siddha Medicine and Research, Dr. Shanti Raja, thank you for your introduction, nice introduction to me. Dr. Angeline, Dr. Uma Sendil, and other members present here. So I would like to share some ideas about the working from home, the problems and the solutions of working from home. So you all well known about the mental health issue of coronavirus. Recent research reports, the Health Policy Research Organization of WHO, the 53% of Americans have found their mental health negatively impacted by the COVID virus. The another study is linked with UK. That is the Center for Mental Health expects 500,000 more people to experience poor mental health compared to the normal year due to the coronavirus. These two are the recent research reports. So some common feelings you might be experienced are feeling isolated, lonely, disconnected from the other people, socially and personally, having difficulty in staying motivated,
We can't hear you.
able to hear me?
It's getting interrupted, Dr. Selva. Try again. We see the slide, but we are not hearing your voice. Dr. Shanti, what we can do is, if Selva is having, because he's dialing in from India, we can switch to, if Dr. Uma is ready, she could go ahead with the presentation and then we can go to Dr. Selva at the end. So.
Okay, Uma, are you ready, Uma? Hello?
Yes, Shanti. Hi.
Okay, thank you. I think Dr. Selva Shanmugam's line is kind of interrupted. So we will switch over to Dr. Uma Senthil Kumar's talk. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Uma Senthil Kumar, who is unique in her medical career. I've never seen a combination of Siddha medicine qualification plus allopathy qualification. She has done her medical degree in Siddha medicine with parallel training in yoga, nutrition, as well as Reiki healing in India. She did receive her master's in neuropharmacology while she was living in Ireland. Then she took her long allopathic course in US and she became a family medicine doctor at Eastern Virginia Medical School, Virginia. She did her fellowship in integrative medicine. She works as a primary care physician in the state of Michigan. She has unique holistic approach to patient care. with her skills as allopathic as well as a Siddha physician. And now I invite Dr. Uma to deliver her talk. And also she believes in personalized approach to the patient care. And she does not believe in one size fits all. Now I invite you, Uma, to talk. Thank you.
Okay. Greetings to all, and good morning to everyone, and good evening to anybody who is on the other side of the world. It's such a great pleasure to be a part of GCSMR and to be presenting here today with you.
Dr. Silva, what we had done is, because we asked Dr. Uma to go ahead and then you will follow her. So.
Should I continue? We can hear you, Dr. Silva. Should I continue, Shanti, or?
I think you should continue. Dr. Silva's talk will keep for the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next
So,
time.
yeah, thank you for that nice introduction, Shanti, and it's a great pleasure to be in this today. So I'll go ahead and share, and we can start with the presentation. Can you all see my screen here?
Yes, yeah, we can.
Perfect. So today's topic is about the mental health while working from home. And as Dr. Angelina was mentioning, this is a huge transition for all of us here to shift the paradigm, like whoever was working busy before and now we are working busy at home. And it comes with both advantages and disadvantages, as Dr. Angelina was mentioning. So here I want to bring the integrative medicine perspective of how to balance life and keep your mental sanity as we move along in this path. So I just want to start with this slide, which really tells me mental health is not just one entity. It is a combination of you have nutrition, you need to have sleep, exercise, you have to have a relaxation and social support. It's just not one thing. All put together gives you that mental sanity, right? And we heard wonderful details about the sleep pattern from Dr. Angeline. I'm going to go ahead with the rest of the topics. I would really like to focus on the nutrition and the exercise part of it today. So starting with the nutrition, so this slide, so it says the only thing coming out during the quarantine is my stomach, even though it brings us a smile, but this is so unfortunately true. And I see this with my patient population that they have gained at least 30 to 40 pounds in 1 year just because of, not having the regular physical activity they used to have and the accessibility to food all the time. So it's a huge problem here. So I would say don't social distance your belly from your body, okay? Meaning you have to keep your nutrition in check. This can be very tough while working from home because you have access to plenty of food and this causing the waistline havoc and sabotaging your normal BMI. You need to understand what you eat will definitely impact your mood and your energy level. And many studies have proved this. So these big chart here, though this is a busy slide, I really want to touch base 2 things here. Food can only be divided into 2 things, inflammatory foods and non-inflammatory foods. When you say inflammatory foods, I don't want to call this as a Western diet because every cuisine has some inflammatory food, okay? So we have to pick the right choice, being most of the times we eat sugary foods, fast foods, fried meat, wheat, white bread, whole dairy fats and whole fat dairies, and all of those are inflammatory foods. What is the big deal about these foods? These foods causes inflammation in your body, which can lead to a lot of health problems. Say, may it be cancer, may it be ADHD, may it be depression, anxiety. Alzheimer's, so many diseases are linked to inflammatory foods. So in the long run, this causes a huge havoc to our health. So switching on to anti-inflammatory foods, these can help ease most of our symptoms. Okay, I strongly believe in what we eat and how we eat are who we are. Okay, so in being that, you have to pick more plant-based diet. We'll go into the details of that. So the nutritional factors shown to influence the mood swings, depression, or anxiety, they include a lot of including folate and omega-3 fatty acids, having some vitamin B6 and B12, including vegetables and nuts. These influence your mood. Increased consumption of like whole fruits and vegetables, and replacing the unhealthy foods with some wholesome foods. Buying fresh foods and maybe frozen foods is better than buying the processed and canned goods. So limiting the intake of processed foods, otherwise called as fast foods, and commercial bakery goods and sweets will make a huge difference in how you feel during the day. So coming to healthy eating, just because we work at home doesn't mean that we don't need to have a schedule. We still have to have a normal eating schedule. When I say that, we need to stick with 3 meals a day. And if you need to snack and the snack needs to be picked rightly, it cannot be anything processed, it cannot be anything packed. Pick a fresh fruit or pick some nuts to snack in between. Avoid the urge to skip meals. Like Dr. Angeline was saying, we sleep late, we wake up late, and we skip the breakfast. Sometimes we directly go to brunch, and what we do for the brunch is we eat a lot, like whatever we skipped, and we try to put everything together. So skipping meals is not a good idea at all. And that can make us overeat sometimes. And I would like to say that imagine a scale of 1 to 10, and 1 being very hungry and makes you physically ill and tired, and then 10 being you are really full and sick to stomach. So I would like you all to be between 4 and 7. You never want to be hungry, nor you want to be like sick to stomach. So try to aim between, 4 and 7. And also, eating when you are not hungry is another issue. So you have to eat when you are hungry. Sometimes it's a good idea to even, focus. Are we really hungry, or is it just the thirst? Sometimes thirst is confused with hunger most of the times. And sometimes we also eat like when we are stressed. Like we can also say, are we anxious? Are we sad? Are we like angry? So think about a minute, take a minute to think if you're having some emotional disturbances and you're grabbing something to eat. So that's called a stress eating. I would ask you to avoid stress eating and drinking plenty of water. See, hydration can lead to a lot of health issues like headaches, feeling very tired, which are both not good for your productivity. So just fill a water bottle and keep it next to your table and make sure that you finish by end of the day. And so that you get at least 64 ounces of water per day is the recommendation. And when I say water, it's plain water. You cannot add any fluids to the list and say call it as water. It cannot be sodas. It cannot be, sugar-loaded pops or juices. Both of all of which can, crash you later at the end of the day. So you need to be very careful about your hydration also. And then caffeine. Caffeine is really something I need to really mention here because people pick up caffeine like a coffee. At least 4 to 5 cups of coffee people drink to keep them going for the whole day of work. I would ask really to avoid that activity because caffeine, though it makes you feel at that good at that moment, it causes fatigue by end of the day. Aim for no more than 2 cups of coffee per day to avoid the jittery feeling and also avoid all the flavored creamers and other high calorie add-ins into the coffee. Okay. And the other saying we say is out of sight is out of mind, right? So don't buy junk food. Only if you have it, you eat it. So don't stock your fridge or your pantry like a vending machine, This can lead to eating just because you have it. Try your best to keep that food out of your house, especially the foods that you know can trigger a binge eating. The one factor I love about eating is mindful eating. It's really, really important that we all follow mindful eating because um, you might be tempted to continue working through lunch and just grabbing a bite while you're, working. That is definitely not ideal. Don't do it. Even if it is 5 minutes or 2 minutes or even whatever time you get, keep the time exclusively for eating, okay? Because being distracted during a meal can lead to overeating and it will not make you feel full even after eating a full plate of food. So mindful eating is really, really important. Focus on what you're eating. There is also a good example, like if you chew your food to the point that it becomes water in your mouth and then you swallow it, you will never eat the amount of food you're eating because we all chew a couple of times and then we keep swallowing. So they say, drink your food, right? You have to chew to the point that it becomes liquid and then you eat it. So that way you get good amount of enzymes from your saliva that helps digestion of your food. And then the last point is portioning out your snacks. Like if you buy a snack, do not eat from the container, do not eat from the packet. Try to put it in a bowl or a plate and take from that. That way you have like a portioning of the container. You know exactly how much you are snacking, okay? As we all know, the healthy plate method, like you have to fill your plate half with non-starchy vegetables and one-fourth with protein and one-fourth with the high fiber carbohydrate. Okay, I'll give you some examples of that. So at this time, we all know we need the immunity to move on, right? So citrus fruits and red bell peppers, they both are really rich in vitamin C, and I highly recommend to include that in your daily food to increase your immunity. And then spices like ginger, turmeric, and chili powder, those kind of things can be easily added to your soup or stews or stir fry vegetables, anything you like. And zinc is really good to increase your immunity to fight virus infections. And cashews are really rich in zinc. So if you're snacking, snack a couple of cashews during, between your breakfast and lunch. And magnesium calms you down. Magnesium is meant to be such a calming agent. It helps to support your immunity. So we all, during stress, we all get depleted of magnesium. So legumes, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, and whole grains, the millets, they're all rich in magnesium. So try to include them in your diet. I'm a big fan of probiotic foods, okay? So I strongly believe that what you eat is connected to your brain, right? So the gut microbiome plays a big role in your brain function. So eat rich probiotic foods, meaning if you go to our Indian foods, they in South India, they say the rice water, like the rice, cooked rice soaked in water overnight for 8 to 10 hours, and then you filter the water in the morning and add a teaspoon or a pinch of salt in it, and add some yogurt, homemade yogurt to that, and drink the water empty stomach in the morning, and nothing can match that probiotic drink. I can bet you on that. Okay, so this is really, really rich in probiotics. And then pickles, homemade pickles or the pickles you buy, they are all fermented products. Anything that is fermented, like the Indian foods like idli, dosas, they all are fermented and they're rich in probiotics. And over here, we have something called miso. Miso is really like a rich Japanese cuisine food. I'm hearing somebody's voice. Sorry. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, keep going, Uma.
Okay.
You're
So
talking about Japanese, what is that? Kimchi, yeah?
yeah. So I was talking about the miso. Miso is one of the miso is rich in probiotics. It's a Japanese cuisine ingredient, a spice, I would say. It's a combination of rice, barley fermentation with the soy product. It comes in powder that you can add to your soups and stews, which is really rich in probiotic. And then kefir that is available over the counter in many stores. Kefir is nothing but our own yogurt that comes in different flavors. They are all very good as well. And never fail to add an antioxidant in your diet, meaning I would really recommend any berries that you can come across: blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, and the citrus fruits, oranges, grapefruit. They're all like rich in antioxidant and helps you to combat the anxiety and boosts your immune system. Okay, so I give you this list of things, but pick the things that you can do and stick to it. I strongly believe that if you stick to something at least as short as 10 days, you will see a difference in your mental activity, your physical energy, and in your overall well-being. You have to consistently do a healthy habit at least for 10 to 21 days to make it as a habit and also see the benefits from that. Okay, so I'll move on to the next topic, which is our sorry, before that, I just want to say some botanicals for the nutrition. See, we get all the nutrients from what we eat, and we believe in that. But sometimes we all are deficient in something or the other because we don't have a balanced meal all the time. So I recommend, considering like a vitamin D3 supplement, especially for people who live in cold climates. They hardly could see the sun if you're working, 7 to 7, you never come out and you hardly get to see the sun in the winter times. So getting the D3 is really hard. So taking a supplement of 1,000 to 2,000 international units per day really helps. And considering saffron is such a calming agent. You can add a piece of saffron, like the flower petal that comes in boxes. You can add a couple of petals in the warm milk and take it before you go to bed. It really soothes you, and it is such an anti-anxiety drink. Chamomile tea is such a calming agent again. End of the day, I would avoid any caffeinated teas before you go to bed. So switch to herbal teas like chamomile tea, or even adding an ashwagandha powder to a drink in a glass of water and drinking that. These things are adaptogens. Adaptogens do that, the soothing effect and calming effect, and keeps your nerves down. And the other thing I would recommend is doing a lavender essential oil or a bergamot essential oil that's available here, that you can add a couple of drops in your palms and just rub it around your necks. Lavender is such an anti-stress oil, and you can also drop like a couple of them on your pillows, pillow covers, or you can use like an aroma oil diffuser and put that oil in there. It gives you that calm sensation when you sleep. We all need that after a long day of work. So moving on to this next topic, I'll quickly touch base on exercise before I hand it over to Dr. Silva. So exercise definitely is a prescription for chronic stress, anxiety, depression, and for sensorium, meaning total body health. Okay, so it can be like at least 150 minutes in a week. We all need to do a moderate intensity exercise. One thing we never talk about when we talk about exercise is strength training. Strength training and resistance training, which we never talk about. Especially women, I think we all stay away from weightlifting and strength training. I feel we all should look into that because it helps in the long run, helps you avoid any bone fractures. It prevents from osteoporosis. And other thing is it improves cognitive function and prevents you from memory dysfunction as we age. So definitely consider strength training and resistance training. And it has to be a routine in your life. May it be running or walking, squatting, lunges, crunches, anything that can add to your core muscles, your upper body and your lower body on a regular basis. You have to do this as a habit because you brush your teeth, you eat, you sleep without failing. And I want this to be added as one of your chore for the day. Your physical activity can never be missed. However busy you are, you need your body to function. And this is how you respect your body, by doing regular physical exercise. So what ergonomics, I want to touch base this, because now the culture is working from home. We have to understand how we sit, because awkward sitting and looking at the screen can cause so much aches and pains end of the day, like neck pain, back pain, headaches. These all come from not having proper ergonomics. So you have to have your shoulder relaxed, and your back should be supported, and your thighs should be horizontal on the chair, and your feet should stay flat on the floor. Never cross your legs, and you should always look your screen at the eye level. If that is not possible, we can always add an extra a laptop stand that stays the laptop at the eye level, and you can look at it. And sometimes standing and working is also good, right? It gives you the circulation to help you keep moving your blood. And nowadays, sit stand at desk is so popular. Yes, working from home, you need to watch the ergonomics. You have to stand and work, yes, but you have to watch what you're doing standing, right? Um, and then I also want to touch base on eye exercise. Eye exercise is a must when you are staring at screen all day long. The yoga eye exercises are really, really fantastic. And you can do this even with like a 2 to 3 minute break in between, it's just a bunch of eye exercises, moving your eyes up and down, and then right and left, and then right up, left down, left up, right down, which is diagonal stretch, and also having a circulatory motion of your eyeballs, both clockwise and anti-clockwise, and then taking your eyes off of the screen and looking something like far away. That way, if you look things far away, it helps you with your distant vision. So these are simple eye exercises that we all can do when we take a few minute break. And rubbing your palms really like strong until you generate some heat, and placing them on your eyes while untouching your eyes. And inside of your eyes, you can press your eyes gently around the edges of your eye sockets. And also when you press, you can also have a deep breathing at the time. We call this Brahmari. This is one of the ancient yogic art that we talk a great deal in Siddha medicine. And I'm sure Dr. Selva can elaborate on this. And we can do this exercise 2 to 3 times in a day to help, prevent the eye strain, having to look at the screen all day. Other things you can consider is under desk elliptical. You can put something like this under your desk if you're sitting and working, and keep pedaling your feet, to keep that blood circulation going. And then consider an anti-fatigue mat that you can stand on while you're working, so that all the pressure doesn't go on your feet and you have a foot ache end of the day. So these are some small things that we can consider while we are working at home. Overall well-being, I strongly believe, as I said in the beginning of the slide, it is a combination of everything. It is just not one entity to have overall health. You have to have, a combination of exercise, mind-body methods like meditation, considering good supplements, and having a good sleep. The beauty of having all this is, if you get one thing done, it has a synergistic effect on everything. Meaning, if you do physical activity, you get more sleep. And if you get healthy sleep, you can influence your mood, and so on, so they are all interlinked. So try to pick one thing, and you'll see the changes happening in other areas of your life eventually, So this leads to a momentum for continued improvement in a motivated person. So this leads to something called as neuroplasticity, which is a beautiful concept recently in mental health. Neuroplasticity is like, it's revolutionizing the mental health. It is like if you do some interventions like a mind-body approach, or exercise, or meditation, or having social connection, this all changes the structure of your brain and function of your brain at any given age. You can do this at 60 years, you can do this at 50 years. You will see a change in your brain function. And that is a new concept they have recently, discovered and talking about now, the neuroplasticity. And so, finally, I want to finish with saying we all are human beings. We are all hardwired, and we have to stay connected socially. Okay. I hear Dr. Sue Verma, one of the leading psychiatrists in New York, he says 4 M's. 4 M's meaning movement, keep moving, and meaningful engagement, that you get socially connected, and then mastery, meaning creativity. Try to pick up some habits like art, yoga or music, anything that fantasizes you or interests you. Pick something creative for yourself. And then the last M is mindfulness. That whatever you're doing, put your heart and soul to it. Be mindful about it. So that way you can preserve your mental health. And I really appreciate all of you for being here and giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts with you. And these are my resources. And thank you all. I'll take the questions end of the session.
Thank you, Uma, for the fantastic talk. I learned a lot. Because of short of, we are lacking time. So I'll move on to Dr. Selva's talk. I already introduced Dr. Selva Shanmugam. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. You can go ahead, please.
Okay. I think I disconnected from this slide, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Many things are covered by both the prior speakers due to my interrupted speech. Apologies. So these are all some common feelings you might be experienced are feeling of isolated, loneliness, disconnected from the other people, being unable to switch off from the work. Insomnia and sleep problems are the common problems due to the work from home. Many ways working from home damaging our mental health. So there are many ways are damaging our mental health. The first thing is people seem to feel more alone without any necessary support. So sudden lack of physical connection from the others is the crucial thing for affecting the mental health. The second thing is adapting work from home can also contribute an increased workload. There is a damnation to work long hours. So there is important question, where do you draw a line between working from home and homing from work? The next thing is new trend of back-to-back virtual meetings. This will lead to, it can trigger the easy fatigability and a feeling of isolation, feeling of mental strength is low in age. So it causes the sudden increase in your psychological and emotional workload. So the postural differences may affect your mental health. You all well know about the stillness of mind lead to the stillness of body will lead to the stillness of mind. So improper posture may lead to the improper mental health. So I think Dr. Uma covered this area very effectively. So bad posture may lead to the muscle to work hard. So it will ultimately lead to pain. So bad posture can cause pain in the muscle, in joints. It ultimately lead to the decreased testosterone and increased cortisol. It may affect the HPA axis. There is a hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. it may lead to the increased secretion of cortisol and other stress hormones. So it will ultimately lead to the stressful and depressed state of mind. So this postural straightness of the postural is covered by Dr. Uma. So how do we overcome the stress and improve the mental health? So this, in another 10 minutes, I would like to share the lifestyle modification, diet, that are compatible food items. The compatibility means our body fundamental bio tissues and bioenergetic principles. Compatible food may enhance the mental health. Simple exercises, sitting postures and asanas, simple breathing exercise, mudras, safe Siddha medicines will cover in this another 5 to 10 minutes. So these are all the Siddha lifestyles. So management of sleep, I think Dr. Angeline covers well in the first session. So early waking up and early to bed is very, very important. Yogasana, exercise, drinking early morning water. So early morning drinking niraharam, cold rice fermented water, is enhancing our mental health. So periodical bowel cleansing method is also very important. So once in 4 months, we detox ourselves with the bowel cleansing method. There is a 4 teaspoons of castor oil, 3 teaspoons of ginger juice, and 3 teaspoons of honey. This mixture is for adult. Once in 4 months, can take early morning. So detox everyone. So periodical oil bath is also very, very essential. So avoidance of the chemical-based toothpaste, soap, lotions, use herbal powders. So herbal powders are easily available in all over the world for detoxifications, alternate to the toothpaste, soap, and lotions. So Triphala Churanam, you all well known about the Triphala Churanam. 100 gram Triphala Churanam mixed with 5 gram of clove powder and 5 gram of salt. You can make it as a tooth powder, alternate to the toothpaste. So toothpaste contains SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, and other toxic chemicals. So sublingual absorption of these toxic materials may cause the mental strain and ultimately lead to the mental health. So some diet patterns. So food items some should avoid. White sugar, alternate to white sugar is honey, palm sugar, and fruits. Alternate to table salt, sea salt, rock salt, and black salt. It's freely available all over the world. Alternate to chili, we can use pepper, ginger, and garlic. Alternate to tamarind, we can use Garcinia cambogia. This is hokum. It's available in the Indian market. So some incompatible food we can avoid. Table salt, refined oil, there is maida, that is refined flours, artificial sweeteners, and coloring agents. Add to your food the natural greens, grains, vegetables, fruits, natural grains, and natural homemade sweets. Excessive quantity of ghee and coconut is very, very essential for enhancing your mental health. So these are all the some diet, the fundamental things. So practicing each and every day can provide inner calm. So relaxation of all the 9 important joints, neck, forward and backward movement, lateral movements, and neck rotation, shoulder joint rotation, elbow joint rotation, abduction and adduction. Elbow joint abduction and adduction, wrist rotation, fingers flexion and extension, hip rotation, re-rotation, ankle joint rotation, toes abduction and adduction. These are all the relaxation methods of all the joints is very, very essential for improving the mental health. So enhancing the circulation of these joints can lead to reduction of stress hormone level and ultimately lead to peaceful mind. So you all well known about these asanas. The first thing is lotus posture. So standing forward bending posture, legs up ball posture, savasana are very important. The benefits of these asanas are well known by all of you. Due to lack of time, I finish my slides early, and we will discuss after. So important things are mudras. So the first mudra is Jnana mudra or chin mudra. Touch the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb. It enhances the brain power. It increases the concentration. It increases the brain power. It cures the insomnia. This is first mudra. This is Uyir mudra. Bend your ring finger and little finger. Touch the tip of both the fingers with the tip of your thumbs. This is Uyir mudra. This will also lead to improve the mental concentration and improve the immune system. It increases the eye power and also cures the many other diseases. It reduces the fatigue and tiredness of the working from home conditions. This is called the Buddhi Mudra, the gesture of intellect. This mudra is performing by touching the thumb into the little finger, gives mental clarity, creative thinking, improve the higher intellectual functions of our body, mind. So this one is the conscious breathing. Many people get into the habit of breathing only with their chest. So restrictive clothing and poor posture, stress conditions will lead to it will not lead to the complete breathing. So diaphragmatic breathing is the conscious breathing. So sit in a comfortable position and relax your shoulder. Put hand on your chest. Just left hand on our chest, right hand on our belly button. So breathe through your nostril about 2 seconds, and you should experience the air moving through your nostril into your nostril, your chest wall, and your abdomen, making your stomach expand. During this type of breathing, make sure your stomach is moving outward while your chest remains relatively still. So this is called as conscious breathing or abdominal breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. So this will lead to the mental peace. Another thing is Purna Sutti Pranayama. Purna Sutti Pranayama, inhale through both the nostrils and exhale through the mouth. So inhalation and exhalation, 1:2 ratio. We can do the Purna Sutti Pranayama in the highly ventilated area. This will also lead to mental peace. You all well known about the Nadi Sutti Pranayama. So inhalation through the left nostril and exhalation through the right nostril. It will lead to the respiratory center with alive. Once through this Nadi Sutti Pranayama, the respiratory center, the control of the breathing passes through respiratory center to the cerebral cortex. This will lead to the stillness of mind and ultimately peace and bliss. So inhalation through the left nostril will trigger the rest and the relaxation. It is the response of the parasympathetic nervous system. And inhalation through the right nostril stimulates the fight and flight response, that is otherwise called the sympathetic nervous system. So by choosing which nostril you use inhale, you can make yourself either more relaxed or more energized. So alternate nostril breathing, Anulom Vilom or Nadi Sutti Pranayama or simple pranayama will lead mental peace. So this breathing method to opposite into the balance by slowly conscious breathing through each nostril for an equal amount of time, we make sure to stimulate the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system is equal in amount. So it gradually will lead to mental peace and health. So these are all some safe Siddha medicines. It is available in the Indian grocery stores and Indian market, and also in online. So first one is the Amukara or Ashwagandha Churanam. Ashwagandha Churanam 2 grams twice a day with ghee or honey before diet, before 20 minutes prior to the diet. And the second safe Siddha medicine is Brahmi Nei. It is available as Brahmi Grudam in US market. 5 grams twice a day before diet is very safe and it will lead to peace. The third thing is homemade preparation, Adimudaram tea. The Adimudaram is available as licorice. So 1 teaspoon of licorice, half a teaspoon of kadukai or haritaki, dry ginger half teaspoon of pepper, and half a teaspoon of poppy seed mixed in the 200 ml of water and heat it in a low flame and get a Adimudaram tea. It enhances your mental strength and sleep pattern. So sleep is very, very essential. I think all the two speakers focuses on that particular topic. So these 3 things is available freely, available all over the world, will lead to peace of mind and mental health. So I finish at this stage. We will discuss in the discussion and question answer session. So stay calm, build a stress-free zone in your home. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Selva. Now, can we invite the participants to ask questions now? Or Thamare has to talk about our oncoming wellness workshop and a little bit about GCSMR. I invite Thamare to talk.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Shanti. I know all of you will be very eager to go for a question answer session. I have a lot of, many of you have a lot of questions, so I don't take that much time. Welcome you all. As a secretary, I have few announcements to make from GCSMR. As you all know, we have been doing this session on health topics each month from GCSMR. It's free for all and anyone can join these health topics. And last few months we had health topics on women's health from adolescence to menopause. It was a great hit. We have been giving this health topic sessions every week, every month from GCSMR, and we have a lot of WhatsApp groups, so you can join in any of the groups. I can post the link in the chat boxes. So, and also we have some wonderful programs coming. The receiver Salem talked about our wellness program, which we will be registering soon. All these programs were all available. Can I have the screen share?
Selva, can you stop your screen share? I think you should be able to do it. You can do screen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I hope you can all see this session. Dr. Selva, he will be doing a Siddha Wellness Workshop. There's 2 sessions, session 1 and session 2. This is mainly about Siddha lifestyle, diet, yoga, and with a scientific explanation. You can choose either it's Saturday session or Sunday session, and we'll be having in two different time zones, Eastern time zone and Western Pacific time zone. So based on your availability, you can do this session. And also we have a early bird special sale going on. So if you register early, you'll have some discounts. So this session will be very useful. We already did this long back when Dr. Selva was here few years back, and I think we did it in St. Louis, Missouri, and we had a very good feedback from that. And also we did it in Washington also. So based on that, we were trying to do this wellness session again. Hopefully you can all join, and all this information is available in our website. So hope you can, everyone can join in our website. It's a Global Center for Siddha Medicine and Research. And also I like to share our website. So most of our recordings, the GCSMR recording and other things are always available in our website. So you can go and refer anything in the past that we did, the wellness programs and the recordings and everything is available there. And also we have other information about Manipal Center and why we did the MOU with them and what is the benefit of those MOU and everything in our website. For example, hopefully we can see this is our home page, and this is our tax exempt status. So whatever donation you make, you get the tax benefit out of it. Thanks for so many our board members for coming forward for doing the donation. We really appreciate it. Dr. Shanti Raja, Dr. Rama, and Dr. Saravanan, they all came forward for kickstarting this fundraising effort. We all thank them, and we still have a long way to go. So we are still hoping for so many donations for our college, because we have this main project coming in Manipal University. Dr. Arul Amudan, he is also leading this effort, and he's here with us in this meeting. So we have a long way to go, and we need all your support. And please donate for us. And this wellness program will be a wonderful way for you to reach to other your organization or support groups in your local area. You can reach up to them. They can benefit a lot from this. We have a consultation that even for a few minutes there we have charging so much, but from GCSMR we are doing this service every month. There's a lot of doctors with us from the allopathy and also Siddha doing this as a service in the service mode. All this PowerPoint and everything is available in our website. And if you go there, and we have this YouTube link that you can click and see our all of the presentation that's wonderful presentation from our doctors. And also we have to do some surveys that we need money for those things, especially for research. And we also have a lot of other projects coming up. I can't talk details about it due to time constraint, but we have the Siddha introduced in the academic in the some of the universities, and we have initial approved from the universities to introduce Siddha as academic thing. We will keep you posted more on this. And if you have any questions, please contact us. We have a wonderful PR team led by Dr. Rama Jayabalan. She's a research scientist in Duke University. She's leading the PR team. So if you need any help, please send us an email to gcsmr20@gmail.com, or you can go to our website and contact us anytime for any questions regarding this wellness program. We are always here to help you. And with this, I'll stop my screen sharing, and we can start our question answer session. Dr. Shanti, are you ready? We can start our question answer segment. And if you have any questions, please put your question in the chat. Doctors are answering all those things. And if you need to talk, please unmute yourself and let it be short and sweet. And also avoid personal questions. And we also have one more wellness coaching thing that we have in our website, and you can also contact us if you want to have a personal or one-on-one chat with one of our doctors, Siddha doctors. It's also available. It's called Wellness Coaching Program. You need to file few forms, and we are available for that. Please make use of that. Uh, please contact us. I'll give it to Shanti, Dr. Shanti now.
Thank you, Tamrai, and thank you for showing the website so people can get interested in and check it out for themselves. There is a question in the chat box I need to answer before I ask some questions to Dr. Uma Senthil Kumar and Dr. Selva. Uh, this question is from Anand Palanisamy. He's asking about COVID vaccine, different topic. Which vaccine to choose, Pfizer or Moderna, or one dose Johnson and Johnson? I would say like whichever is available you can choose, but I personally prefer to take Johnson and Johnson if it is available, because it is one dose and it is older technology, and it does give less than, like, it's not as equal efficacy as the other vaccines, but it does prevent hospitalization and critical illness. So I would prefer Johnson and Johnson because it's just one dose. And then I have a question for Dr. Uma Senthil Kumar. Can I ask you?
Yes, go ahead.
Um, you talked about inflammatory food and anti-inflammatory food, right?
Uh-huh.
So which category the sugar supplements come under? Can we
Um,
use sugar supplements safely
no,
for
yeah,
diabetic patients?
supplements, when we say that, are we talking about the aspartame or the artificial sweeteners?
Yeah, Splenda. I don't use aspartame because it's connected to a lot of neuromuscular and neurological diseases. So I use Splenda. I'm a diabetic. So what would you suggest?
That would definitely be under the category of inflammatory food. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so if you want like a natural sweetener,
Yeah.
the palm jaggery sugar,
Okay.
we call it as panai vellam. That is
Yes.
an option. The way I use it is I buy them because most of the times they have like lot of dirt in it. So I wash them once and then I put them in the stove and make it as a syrup, in syrup consistency, like a honey consistency, and store them in the fridge. And I use like a teaspoon wherever I need to sweeten my dishes. That's one of the natural sugar I can recommend, but I don't believe in artificial sweetener much.
My question is whether it will increase your sugar levels once you consume it. Your
The,
blood sugar.
the palm sugar.
Yeah.
Yes, the glycemic index is not as high as the white sugar or the other other sugars that are available, but it's definitely better than using artificial sweeteners.
Thank you, Dr. Uma. Any other questions, guys?
This is Sivasalam. I had a question about the darkness. People were taught to improve yourself. I mean, sleep. How important is darkness compared to other? In other words, there are 3 or 4 characteristics that they talk about, like regular sleep habits, blue light, and all that. But how important is darkness?
If I may answer that, darkness is important because it is for the circadian rhythm. So in order to trigger the melatonin release, it's very important that you do have that dark.
Excuse me, can others please mute your cell phone? Can you mute your mic so
Again. So the thing that, so in order to really, if you're really going to go over a long period of time, again, this is not an immediate response. For example, if you just darken it one night, it doesn't mean your sleep is going to get better that night. It is a way to modify a circadian rhythm. So basically, when there is light particles still entering our eyelids, even when we close it, you can still have light going to eyelids. it triggers the pineal body and then suppresses the release of melatonin. So melatonin is the initiator of sleep. So it is important that, if you're really going to change a habit over a period of time, again, it's not an overnight change just because you had 1 or 2 nights of darkness, but if you're going to initiate a habit, it is very, very important to make it completely dark and get into the habit of darkness. The problem is, especially with couples sharing a bed and then there's a TV, some people like to watch TV later at night. Some couples like, one of the couples may watch TV or stay on the iPad. That creates conflict. But the ideal way would be to have complete darkness, and if you do that consistently, your circadian rhythm will reset itself. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Shanti, you're on mute. Dr. Shanti. you're on
Sorry.
mute.
There is a question from Dr. Shankari Sivasailam to Dr. Uma. Will you recommend stevia as sugar substitute? Dr.
Yeah.
Uma?
Yeah, so the stevia is one of the non-nutrient sweetener. So those sweet glycosides, this is a plant from Brazil that they extract these sweetener. They are not usually altered during the extraction and processing of the plant. So according to the current research, stevia sweeteners appear safe compared to the other non-nutrient sweeteners. Studies on both healthy and diabetic patients show that when stevia replaces carbohydrates, the postprandial glucose is definitely lower. So yes, it is a safer option.
Okay, there is another question from Mr. Sami Subramaniam. Any Siddha alternative for coffee? Any one of you can answer?
Dr. Selva or Dr. Uma?
Uma.
I think Dr.
Okay,
Selva.
there are many alternatives for the coffee and tea. The simple thing is dried ginger tea. The combination is dried ginger 1 teaspoon, cumin seed half a teaspoon, coriander seed half a teaspoon, and pepper half a teaspoon. This combination mixed with 200 ml of water. You can add palm jaggery. You can drink as an alternate to coffee and tea.
Just for your information for others who are hearing, all these Siddha preparation methods are all available in our website. You can go and refer in that. What Dr. Selva is only, saying to us is Sukumali coffee. We call it a Sukumali coffee, very simple in term. So it's all available. Lot of healthy Siddha food preparation methods and its nutrition value. Everything is available in our website. Please, you can go and check it. Thank you.
There is a question from Mr. Senthil Murugan to Dr. Selva. Is there a way to increase vitamin D without taking supplements in Siddha?
Yes, there is one thing is called Niraharam. There is cold rice fermented water. Early morning drinking cold rice fermented water and oil bath, sunlight exposure are the safe thing to enhance the vitamin D synthesis in our body without taking the supplements.
Thank you.
And also black gram, green gram, palm jaggery, moringa leaf, all are contain enormous essential phytonutrients present in that particular homemade preparations. These are also alternate to the vitamin D supplement.
Thank you, Dr. Selva. Next question is also from Mr. Sami Subramanian for Dr. Selva. Dr. Selva, you mentioned about Triphala based item for brushing teeth. Would that promote enamel regrowth?
Enamel regrowth?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Triphala tooth powder you talked about, right?
Yeah, okay. So enamel regrowth, there is no evidence there using Triphala churnam. And some other herbals, that is Nuna in Tamil, can enhance the promotion of enamel regrowth. There is no scientific evidence is there, but we can try.
Enamel regrowth. Okay.
Enamel regrowth.
Okay. And I want to ask you a question, Dr. Selva, about mudras. So how long you need to do each mudra, and also in what position we need to do?
So spine erect position. So the mudras, 1 minute. Able to see me? So if you can, okay. If you do the chin mudra, do like this, the spine erect position, and close your eyes and see only deep breathing is going on. 5 to 15 minutes each and every mudra can lead to the mental concentration and remove your anxiety and depressions.
Any time of the day we can do it.
And before diet, early morning is ideal time. 4:30 to 7:30 is the ideal time for doing mudra.
All right. And 5 minutes, you said, and a sitting position, preferably. Or spine erect position. Okay, thank
5
you.
to 20 minutes you can do the mudras.
Okay, thank you.
Simultaneously, you do the conscious breathing also. That is a so-called abdominal breathing.
Okay. I generally incorporate the mudras in meditation.
Yes.
To save time. One more question. Some people are, in my book club, are afraid about pranayama without proper teaching from the guru.
Yeah.
So, do you suggest us to do these mudras and pranayama without a guru?
So classical pranayama is entirely different from the simple breathing technique. So inhalation and exhalation. So inhalation 4 seconds, exhalation 8 seconds with the abdominal breathing. That's the conscious breathing without any guru. We can do the things. So the classical pranayama is entirely different. So without a teacher, a proper teacher, you can't do that particular classical pranayamas. So you can do the simple breathing exercise with the mudras, doesn't need any guidance.
Okay, thank you. And there is a question from Mr. Srinivas. Any recommendations for curing the gum disease issues?
Dr. Shanti, this is Sivasalam. I think like since it's outside our topic, I kind of responded that they should probably send an email and do a one-on-one consultation with one of our Siddha doctors. I think so. I think that'll be a good idea to do that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Before that, I would also like to thank our sponsor for this event, for the mental health event, Munisami Subramaniam, for sponsoring this week, this mental illness during COVID situation event. On behalf of GCMR, we would like to thank our sponsors. It's so great that we get sponsors for our health topic every month. We hope we will keep this momentum going on. We also looking forward for a lot of sponsors and donors for upcoming wellness program too. And we have a very good packages. It's coming. It's 2 days every week, 2 weeks for 2 weeks. You can select your own time and your own time zones. Please come forward and please share this information to all your groups, to all your local areas groups that you live. And this program will be done in English, so it's open to all. So anyone apart from this Tamil community, they can also join. So it's open to all. Please spread this. And once again, I like to thank Thiru Munusamy for his generous donation. Thank you.
Are we good with time? And we close.
Yeah, if we have few more questions, we can accommodate. Anyone has any questions? We can accommodate few more questions before we wrap up.
So either Dr. Uma or Dr. Angeline or Dr. Selva, if you can just summarize in 2 minutes or so how to improve the mental health. I mean, just based on your, so people who are late joining can also hear once more so quickly.
Yeah, I would suggest early morning waking up and drinking cold rice fermented water and taking banana in 6 o'clock. Finish your breakfast before 7:30 with adequate ghee. Take plenty of fresh vegetables. Finish your dinner before sunset, that is before 6 o'clock. So close your all electronic instruments before 8 o'clock. These are all the important things. Do relaxation exercise, do mudras, do simple breathing exercise, and stay healthy. Thank you.
Is Dr. Rama is available? Dr. Rama?
Yes, yes, Tamara. Yes, I'm available.
Okay. We have one more question for Dr. Selva. Can basmati rice be used getting overnight soaking water?
No, it's not advisable. Only organic rice. That is, basmati rice is not advisable for the cold rice fermented water.
Okay, thank you, doctor. And also, Dr. Shanti Raja has she has posted the answer saying that she's available for any questions outside the webinar. She has also posted her number. So nice of you, Dr. Shanti. So if you have any questions, please contact us, our gcsmr20@gmail.com. You can contact us any time about this wellness coaching program or one-on-one wellness coaching. Please contact us. I would like to call Dr. Rama to say the thank you note. Dr. Rama.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. We appreciate all your presence. And also, as a PR person, I would like to ask you guys to donate anything you can. Even a small amount of money goes a long way. And also, please start sharing the workshop flyers with your friends, and so that everyone can benefit from the great Siddha Dr. Selva Shanmugam. He's offering an extremely a large amount of data and information which you cannot get outside. He's a great person. Just from my personal experience, just talking to him for a few minutes will exactly cure your disease. That's what I strongly feel. So please join the workshop and support GCSMR for a great cause. We are setting up, this is a fundraising event for setting up the Siddha Center in Manipal University. Thank you very much, Dr. Angeline, Dr. Uma, and Dr. Selva for giving a mountain of information, and I'm sure this is going to continue. And please support us and donate how much ever you can. Thank you very much. And I also extend thanks to Mr. Munisamy Subramanian for sponsoring this webinar. He's a very good friend of ours, and his continuous support for us will continue. I think, Mr. Munisamy. I am just putting his name out there. But anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll meet you in another webinar soon. Thank you.
Yeah, it's 11:50. So if there is no other, can we close the webinar?
Yeah, I think most of us we are done.
And if possible, you can get the contacts of all the attendees, and then we can send the flyer to them directly.
Okay.
So we can ask them to send their contact to GCSMR.
Sure.
Please email us your contact information to gcsmr20@gmail.com. Once again, it's gcsmr20@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Siva.
Sorry. Someone was talking.
No. Yeah. I think somebody was, it's a friend of mine is thanking me.
Shanti is all right.
All right. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.